Everybody, and welcome back to Streetlight Babble, where we will be doing a spoiler review for
Get out! Get out! Get out!
So, with the erecting of the spoiler switchblade, we are going to get on the way
With our spoiler corner.
with the spoiler switch corner. Anyway, so how's the plot for you, Jake? You know,
Plot was serviceable. Basically what happened was African American guy and his white girlfriend go to his parents' house, and
they go to her parents' house. The movie begins with them, about to go on a road trip to her parents' house. He's nervous because he's like, "Oh, but did you tell me that did you tell them that I'm black?"
oh honey, I don't need to do that. This is the 21st century. No one cares about race anymore.
Everybody cares about race, people. Everybody does, even if they won't admit it.
It's unfortunate reality. But they go to the parents' house, and there's kind of some red flags that go on, but the boyfriend just kind of brushes it off as, you know what, they're nervous, they probably haven't had
the subtle racisms that they point to. Maybe not racism. So did we cover this in the non-spoiler? I don't remember.
We touched on it. We touched on it.
Yeah, we touched on it. How well it was done. With the father kind of like being the liberal father, but with the little faux pas, like my man, and I would have voted for Obama for a third term,
even though that's constitutionally illegal.
It is constitutionally illegal, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, don't vote your president for a third term, because that would be bad. But they go...
Everybody.
That's...
Alright, buddy. Got that?
Got that? That's the Constitution right there.
Yeah, you do.
But anyway,
Right,
so
yeah.
they go there, and odd things start happening. He notices that all the black people that are there are acting in ways that normal people don't act.
Yeah, they're acting very bland, they're acting very robotic, and it's just, it builds and it builds. There's more tension. The more white people that show up, and they start like examining him like he's a mandingo, like he's a piece of meat. They're like, ooh,
he's a specimen.
You got some nice physicality there, and of course that's heavy foreshadowing as to what's going to happen, and you can see it coming a mile away. I mean,
yeah, which lo and behold, in the third act, it reveals that the entire plot isn't necessarily racism. It's more of a...
It isn't racism. It turns out
brain transfusions.
It turns out that the white people are like, ooh, us white people, we're so smart, and you black people, you're so strong, and combined, we will be one. So that's what I guess is going on. They want to transfuse their own brains into the black people's brains.
Their bodies.
Yeah, into their bodies, and like the black people are still kind of there and kind of not.
Their brainstem is still intact, so they explain
so
that as they're there, but they're not there.
Yeah, you're now a spectator in someone else's life while they live in your own body, which is pretty creepy.
It's a creepy concept.
It's a creepy concept. It's been kind of done before, but I rather liked it.
It was done well here.
It does immediately make you feel empathy for just the hopelessness of that whole situation, which I rather enjoyed. So, our main character, he's at the end of the movie, he's locked into a chair, and he's pretend to be hypnotized, but then turns out he had cotton balls in his ears the whole time because he knew it was auditory. Oh, he's just such a smart boy. Oh,
exactly.
Boy, I like he's smart.
Like we said, the main characters in this movie are able to
they
rationalize.
They get out of it with their wits. But then that actually kind of, funny enough, the thing that I like about it kind of led to the reason that I didn't quite like the third act was it wrapped up so fast. Like,
it wrapped up in 10 minutes.
He kills all of them within the matter of 10 minutes and then drives away with his friend. That's how the movie ends. And you kind of feel empty. You're like...
that's how it ends?
Like,
we built up to this huge climax.
There was so much build-up, and there was so much suspense, and it was just building and building, and then it's over.
And it's over. Which...
It didn't feel as gratifying as I wanted it to, which is part of the reason it has a 6 out of 10 rating for me.
Yeah. Which, like we said, it's still a good movie. It's just the last 15 minutes of the movie should have been the last half hour of the movie. Mm-hmm. Which kind of leads us into our next point. What a twist!
What a twist! So it turns out, the whole time, his white girlfriend, so innocent, so dainty, so small, she was the one luring all the black men and women, pretending to be lesbian,
Fishing them in.
She's to her little house, to this little weird community of white people that want to be black people for reasons.
And
And it turns out, and I called it. I told the guy, I'm like,
Yeah.
she's in on it, or she's hypnotized. I think you maybe said that, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was hypnotized, which kind of touches on another part. There's a scene where the main character comes across pictures of all her previous boyfriends and one girlfriend.
It was very visual.
It was good. It did a good job of showing, not telling. And you can see him rationalizing in his mind, okay, is she hypnotized? Is she not? So he puts her through a test. He says, okay, we need to get out. Honey, can you get me the car keys? Can you get me the car keys? Can you get me the car keys? And you see her fumbling around in her purse trying to find these car keys. And then it gets revealed that she had the keys in her hand.
The whole time.
And she was
super in on it. And like they were all creepy. And then Joker Kid was like, I'm gonna get ya. Ooh, I'm gonna get ya.
And hits him with a lacrosse stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one twist that we saw coming. There was another twist that I think they did a really good job of setting it up in the beginning of the movie, and it kind of paid off. Essentially, like we said, they put brains of white people into black people, and the grandfather of the whole family was an Olympic sprinter.
Yeah, he was up against he was up against a
Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics, which were done in Nazi Germany, and he came in like second or third, which I guess that caused the grandfather to want to have a black body, which is why this whole thing started.
But we see him, or we see the character that his brain gets put into. We don't know that it's in there. We just see him running. But it had been pre-established that the grandfather was a sprinter.
Yeah, was a sprinter. And we saw the person who ended up being the grandfather, but we didn't know it at the time. We thought he was the groundskeeper. We saw him sprinting all around the fields, like running toward our main character. It was one of the horror moments. Yeah, it was. So that was pretty good foreshadowing. I like how these things came full circle in the end. And yeah, but yeah, I called the twist, so I'm smart. Did. I'm smarter than Peel.
Yeah, you are. Speaking of Peel,
I wish I had his body though.
Oh. Anyways, so one of the things that we kind of both touched on was the main message of the movie. Everyone's talking about, oh, this is a great movie about racism. It's a great movie about racism.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the main...
The first half, I think, is about racism and slavery allegories. I mean, it is a very race-baiting movie. It's on the heels of this whole Black Lives Matter movement, Donald Trump's election. It's definitely cashing in on current events, in a way.
In a way. But the overall message of the second half was a little bit muddled. I mean, I thought it had to do with a cultural appropriation. Oh, we want to incorporate these black people into our lives.
Maybe it's about black people losing their identity in this world, which what identity they've had, because maybe they've never had one, because brought over from Africa, not sure which country they're from. But, I mean, I personally don't see anything wrong with cultural appropriation, because would you rather somebody appreciate and take part in your culture, or would you rather they hate it and want to kill you? Which, I mean, I guess they're killing the black people here too. But
well, kind of.
There's a pretty heavy, a lot of heavy allegory, a lot of symbolism going on in this movie. It was
which, like we said, that's good. It does a really good job of showing, not telling. A lot of times we get these movies where in the dialogue it's just all exposition, like, oh, we put them in the mind, we put the minds in the black people, and this is why we're doing it.
Yeah, in a worse movie, they'd be like, they're taking our minds because they want to be us. Ooh, but no, they didn't have to actually tell you that. They let you. See, this is where this is all coming from. They're letting you think about the message. They didn't explain it to you. And that's
a good movie. That's what a good movie does.
That's what a good movie does. If it makes you think, I'd say it's just pretty good. It's just pretty good in my book.
It's pretty good in my book. So just kind of wrapping it all up, I think overall, Jordan Peele is going to be a fantastic director. I congratulate him.
For a directorial debut, this was pretty good. As I said in the previous video, didn't like the horror cliches, didn't like some of the music, the cinematography was very rudimentary. But for a directorial debut, you can't deny that it's a good a step in the right direction. Let me tell you that.
Exactly. I feel like with a better budget and a couple of other minor tweaks here and there, this movie could have definitely been an 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I wish it stayed more on message or kept the same message. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I just don't understand what he was going for. Just maybe it was
two white people watching a movie.
Well, maybe it was. I mean, we're all humans. We're all sharing in the human experience. But maybe it's an allegory for all of black history. He enters into the white man's world, and he sees all the other black people around him being servants, and then it turns into him. And then they're checking him as like for a sporting game, and then all of a sudden in the end of the movie they want to be him, which is kind of an allegory for culture, because a lot of black culture and music has made its way into the mainstream, even though they're the minority of the population. So that's what it could be. The movie could be an allegory for all of black history in the U.S. entirely, which is that's pretty impressive,
But, of course, we're not Jordan Peele, so we don't know exactly what he was trying to go for.
You don't necessarily have to get the same message from a piece of art that the artist had put into it. That's one of my rules.
Art isn't what it's supposed to be. Art is supposed to be what you interpret from it.
Yeah, which I understand. It would be better if we all, stopped seeing each other just by race, but still, I understand that need to be one with your culture, to understand it. Maybe it gives you a sense of individuality, makes you feel more like you're part of something, and maybe that's what the movie's about. They feel that's being, some black people like Jordan Peele. Yeah, feel like that's being taken from them, or maybe that's what it's all about. Those are my theories. Those are my theories.
Those are his theories.
I'm a theorizer. That's just a theory.
Is that a gay theory?
A gay theory.
Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our spoiler corner for Get Out.
Spellers. So, really good directorial debut. Can't wait to see more. Mr. P. Keel.
Mr. Peel.
P. Keel.
Look forward to see what you're doing. Real quick side note, if you guys could, like this video, subscribe, and once again,
subscribe.
Give us some feedback. We want to know how we're doing. Please.
I think you're smart enough to know what you want. So tell us.
Tell us what you want.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want from me?
Maybe a shave?